Can I ask one hockey question?
Yeah, I was gonna do that just now. I was gonna ask
okay.
him about the Islanders being down 2-0 and going back to Carolina and what you've seen in this series. If you believe that they still have a good shot to come back and win the thing. Oh, get his microphone. There we go.
I think that so one thing we're seeing more than ever right now is the parity amongst the league. You see these teams, they're filled with guys that are all under the age of 28. You can shift a series with one game quickly. And I don't think that there's the intimidation factor of like going into Carolina. Carolina is not really a tough building to play in, even with this whole thing that they're doing, and they've got the fans, and it's not like going into the Coliseum.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about the fact that like the Islanders just lost 2 games at Barclays?
Yeah, I mean, we have been. I mean,
Oh, you have.
We've been all over
We've been
this.
screaming.
I
We
mean,
tried to call Ledecky and Bettman and scream at them, put
Like,
these games at the Coliseum, and they're all ducking
What
us.
a stupid decision. And the team should be like, they should go on the road and win 2 games now just because they're pissed off that they had to play at Barclays for the first 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the Coliseum, say what you will about it, and I've said, oh, it's a dump.
But it's their dump.
It's their dump, and
Yes.
they feel great playing there, and they're close to home. And I said, why do you think that didn't have a factor in Tavares leaving? Look at the situation they're in. They're like nomads. They're like, where are they? I think they can go into Carolina and win 2 games. I just do. Barzal's got to get going.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to get
He's a
going.
terrific player, though. Man.
Yeah,
You can really see
cool.
that. So, did you see the Devin Taves kicked in goal yesterday?
Yeah.
Off the skate.
Yeah.
How do you kick a goal, a puck into the net from behind the net?
I mean, well, you can't really.
I mean, do you agree with the rule? Do you agree with the way that you can take a look at it here? The puck comes off of his skate. He's 3 feet behind the end line or the goal line.
Because I guess, yeah, no, that is a goal. There's no question it's a goal. How do you do it? I don't know how you do it.
But they called it. They said no goal. They said that was
That's
a
a
kicking.
goal. That's a goal because it's not a forward motion towards the net. That's the rule. And I don't know what's happening today, if they're getting heat over it,
Right.
or if it's the ref's decision under his.
I think
purview.
they're going by the letter of the law and the wording. I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't kick the puck into the net. He kicked it back towards the net.
Right.
And it went off the goaltender.
So if he was in the corner and he kicked it to the front of the net and it hit a defender and then went in,
yes.
would they have? They probably then would have allowed it because it wasn't so.
So what off the defender?
Right, but there's no difference between a defender and a goalie.
That's what I'm saying.
They're the
I don't
same
understand
player.
it. I don't understand how. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
No, that was a terrible call. And who is that ref?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But they also went back to Toronto and they reviewed it. And everything, and they said no.
I don't know who's reviewing it. George Peros?
I don't know. I think so. That's one of your buddies, right?
Oh my God.
Who's the worst official? Who's the worst ref?
This Boston kid. What's his name? He's a Boston guy. He's a Boston guy.
He doesn't do Boston games, does he?
He's
not Kelly Sutherland. It's not one of those guys.
No. God, it'll come.
I don't
to me.
know all the referees off the top of my head.
They're not very good.
None
I
of
mean,
them are good.
you can see what happens when the ice starts to shift too much in one team's favor.
Right.
They'll make a call to like, that's not the way it should be. If a team's just thumping a team, don't let the other team back in the game because it's too one-sided.
So what happened between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks at the end of the game where Vegas is up 3-0, a 5-minute major is handed to Vegas. So San Jose now has a 5-minute major penalty, and they score 4 power play goals.
I mean, it wasn't a penalty.
In the first place, it shouldn't have been called anyway.
And then so this is the weird thing. Like a 5-minute major, you don't need blood. But a 4-minute penalty, you need to have blood. Think about how stupid of a rule that is.
Yeah, right.
You can get a 5-minute major stick infraction for no blood, but for 4 minutes, you have to have blood. So now this ref has the ability to call a 5-minute major because he thinks that it was a 5-minute major when it didn't even hit the guy. There's no blood. And you've just cost an organization, I don't know, $10 million
At least that and an opportunity to win the cup.
Right,
obviously.
right. I was selfishly thinking just about the money, but yeah.
But then when you selfishly think about the money, that's why the Islanders play at the Barclays Center, because they have the Sky Suites, the bigger, they get more fans in there.
Well, that's what they thought was going to be more money.
Right.
But what they didn't realize is nobody goes.
Well, for the playoff games, they'll go, not for the regular season. Look, I'm a big advocate of the Nassau Coliseum. I'm a Nassau County resident.
Right.
And I wanted the Islanders to be there, and I still believe they should be there. And I'm not a big proponent of the new building, the Belmont.
Right.
I just we need another building around here.
Well,
we need more bike lanes. We need less buildings and more bike lanes.
We need more bike lanes. We need the Islanders to stay at the Coliseum.
Can you do me a favor with these bike lanes and all this other crap? The delivery people, they go the wrong way on the road. I don't know how many times I've almost been hit in the street in New York by a delivery person going the wrong way.
Yeah, I think I've made my decision with your help today that I'm going to start a Instagram campaign going after Grubhub Seamless Caviar because they don't educate their drivers. It would be like Uber giving you an Uber license and saying, oh, by the way, you don't have to go the right way down the highway. You can go the complete opposite direction. It's fine. So Grubhub Seamless Caviar, Uber has a delivery service actually too. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to personally ruin their business for the next month in New York until they initiate some sort of driver education program.
See, that's the kind of advocacy we need.
Right.
And how are you going to go about ruining their business? Just bad-mouthing them on
I'll just start
attacking
I'll just start
drivers?
putting a little bit of I'll format I go after the delivery guys anyways.
Right.
Now I just have to literally I'll tag Grubhub because you can see who they have a bag on their shoulder.
Right.
So I just got to format it a little bit, get it in my mind, kind of work it out.
And you'll be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, anybody now can, if you have a voice on. That's the terrible thing about social media. Nobody's safe.
Right.
Nobody's safe, and you're not going to make sure that they are safe. But for me, somebody who's almost been hit at least 3 different times in the last month alone, walking out here in Hudson. So there's a bike lane there. The Uber driver pulls over to pick me up.
Right.
So I go out there to get there. So the biker is so ticked off that he comes around the Uber because the Uber's
and
blocking.
the cars.
And that guy's screaming at me, who's screaming at the driver, who's screaming at other drivers, and people are honking horns and everything else. I mean, we got a legitimate problem.
No, but you know what my cab drivers do if I ever get into a taxi? I say to them, you see that there's that park lane on the other side of the bike lane, right?
Yes.
Which is for emergency vehicles. Stop there. Just park the car there, bro. I don't understand why you need to. I don't need to get that close. Okay? And it's part of this is on the people, and it's their responsibility to start policing it. Mm-hmm. So because you ride a bike.
Right.
Next time you're in your Uber, just tell the guy to stop in the emergency lane.
Right. That's a good point. I will say this though: the next time I see a guy going the wrong way, I'm going to clothesline him.
Right. I think that's
a great. I would
love that. Right? I would love that, and your Instagram will blow up.
I do have Instagram, but I really don't use it as much as you.
But
I know
you got to start.
Yours is crazy.
You got to start.
I live by yours now. How many Instagram followers do you have?
I think this morning I had 150,000, but I mean. 4 weeks ago, I had like 30. So,
so why New York to pursue the acting career and not L.A.? I feel like everybody goes to L.A. to pursue.
I think that New York is the hard way.
Yeah,
and I think that it's a different type of environment and it's a different community. Like you hear about the New York acting community. It's like a real thing. Mm-hmm. It's. I just think. It's more legitimate, and I think it's, in LA, it's every pretty person that moves to LA to become an actor.
Sure.
It's not easy to do it in New York. You have to be on a bike. You have to be in the subway. It's grimy. It's tough. It's not an easy thing to do.
So the authenticity of it is important to you.
Yeah, I think that I knew that this was going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the hardest thing, and I think I like to punish myself. There's some secret satisfaction that I get with doing everything the hard way.
What have you been in that you've been proudest of to this point?
I just shot a independent movie that actually Drake is a big turning into a producer now. movie called Spree with Joe Keely, the kid from Stranger Things.
Oh,
you guys
okay.
watch Stranger
Right,
Things?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Um,
Is that the guy with the big hair in Stranger
yeah,
Things? Him.
Yeah. Good
Right.
kid, Boston kid.
I kind of see you as a cop, like an
I
SVU
go
or
out for
something.
cops all the time.
And you never get picked, or no?
You know, a lot of so it's an interesting time in the business. A lot of those smaller roles are now going to minorities, which I think it's a great thing. Like, we've had this shift, and now the white guy walking into an audition room
Just having a hard time.
it's tough, you know? So I think with me also, we're focusing on, let's be honest, I have the luxury of time a little bit. Like, I don't need to get a paycheck tomorrow.
Sure.
So that makes a difference. So we're focusing on bigger stuff, and it's going to break at some point.
Yeah, it was interesting. We do this charity hockey game. We call it, it's Mikey Strong. We've had it for 5 years now. And a young man, Mikey Nichols, over in New Jersey, got hurt playing hockey. He got thrown into the boards and is paralyzed and wheelchair bound. And he's been so inspirational. He loves the game of hockey. It's given him so much. He's a huge Ranger fan. So we had the game this year, and we're in the locker room, and I got all my other NHL guys in there. And,
Right.
and Mikey comes in and he gives like the pregame speech. And I said, Mikey, who is your favorite hockey player? Right? I'm thinking he's going to say, I don't know, Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, Martin Brodeur,
boy.
Henrik Lundqvist, whoever, right? Sean Avery. And you should
There he
see,
is right there.
there he is right there. You can see it. And you should see all the guys, all the NHL players.
Oh, I can
going,
imagine.
Are you kidding me?
I can imagine. Can I call him?
Yes,
sometime?
yes, you can.
You'll-
Mikey says he patterned his game after the way that you played
Oh, man.
your game.
I love that.
That he was an edgy player, much like Sean Avery was an edgy player, and he absolutely loves you and thinks the world of you.
Oh, that's awesome, Mikey. Expect let's link up here, buddy.
You got
we'll
it.
have a
Definitely,
chat.
Yes, and I appreciate that, Sean.
No
I appreciate
problem.
you coming in too, man.
Thanks for
Stay
having
out
me,
of
guys.
trouble.
I will.
Don't hit anybody on
I
Instagram.
will. I won't.
Don't use it as evidence against you.
I can't promise you anything.
I'm Sean Avery is the Instagram account if you want to follow along. I am Sean Avery.